Bad, let's do a roll. Whoa!
What happened there?
Oh! Those rates.
G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, what we're checking out, shoo, that's my Bushido noise, you know. So anyway, what we're checking out is this right here. It's the UAVhD, like with some numbers on it, crazy name, but essentially what you need to think of is a little whoop size, a turtle inside the V2, so you can fly around, do some whoop action, whether you be outdoors, indoors, and also record it and get some nice juicy HHH, or maybe H, depending on how most of you say it, HD action. Now what we're gonna do, let's just quickly smash through the bit on the bench, because then we're gonna go out to the field and really have some fun, catch up with long range Tony, wingman Jono's out there as well, see what they think about this little bad boy, and also fly it around at the in-laws place and pretty much find out, is this a little goodbye for you, or is it just gonna be a goodbye, see you later. So let's kick it off with a bit of an overview. I'm going to stick it on the scales. Of course, it's designed to be a little micro whoop that records HD. These things have been very popular lately. We've had the Mobula HD. I think there was like some from like the Tiny Leader, or there's been a whole bunch anyway, these little HD recorders. But let's stick it on the scales, find out how much it's going to weigh. Hopefully this is going to be in shot. Tear it off there. I think it's like 50 grams, 52 grams. Can you see that? So yeah, about 52 grams. Throw in a battery on there. This battery that it comes with, the little 3S, 300 milliamp hour, is 25 grams. 50 plus 25 is what? 75. So there we go, that's to the side, and then let's go through, kick it off with some of the components, and the first part I want to talk about is the frame. I really like the frame they've got on this thing. It's quite a sturdy little design. I think it's going to take a beating pretty well, bar this bit on the bottom. I'm not too sure how I feel about this bit. I am getting some stress marks you can see on the bottom, so I do think the battery part's going to snap a little bit. I know Trevor, he printed up a TPU mount to replace his on the bottom, but other than that, he really liked it. Moving towards the middle, of course, we've got some little tri-blade props on there. It does come in two versions, so there's like a non-HD version as well, which is a little bit cheaper, and I'll put both of the links down below. This one's a little bit more expensive because it records HD, but this one has 1102 motors, 9000 kV, and it does have a fair bit of poke, and this is something I want to talk about in the flight footage. If you're trying to do this thing indoors on a 3S, it's got probably too much power. You want to dial it back a little bit and probably fly it on 2S, so that is much more reliable and easy to control. I'm going to say on 2S if you're flying indoors. Now moving towards the middle, we're just going to keep it short and sweet. We've got our pretty much all-in-one everything board. It's an F4 Betaflight OSD board with our I think it's 6 amp ESCs. I'll put a little picture on the screen of all the stats anyway, 6 amp ESCs, and it's also got our built-in receiver. So I've got the FreeSky version. I haven't had any fail safes or anything like that, but it's a whole bunch of different versions. I'll link them all down below as well. On top of that, one of the stars of the show, I'll put another picture on the screen as well. We have our little Turtle V2 camera in there, and that's going to mean you can not only have your FPV footage, but also you can get some juicy HD footage in there, which is kind of the main goal of this thing. And then we've also got our VTX on the top, a separate standalone VTX, and you can see a little dipole antenna out the back with a UHF connector. I actually hot glued a whole bunch of stuff in there because a couple of times this has popped off, and it's just been a bit of a nightmare to try to get it back on there. It's a little bit awkward. I even clipped the back bit of the cage here on the canopy so I could fit it in a little bit better. So that part frustrated me. And then I guess that's kind of it for the components. Now the design of the thing, well, I like the design of the frame. I guess it's pretty stock standard stuff. There's nothing too spectacular going on. I'm probably just going to give it like a 6 out of 10. It's robust, but it's not doing anything too original. In terms of the quality, probably about the same, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. I'm more than happy with the quality. And then that brings us on to the pros and the cons before we take it out and rip it around. And I'm going to say, let's do the pros first, the things that I liked. Well, I like its flight characteristics. I like how durable the out part of the frame is, like if you're going to be bumping into things. I like how it can record HD, and overall it is a good flight experience, and it's pretty easy to get set up and get flying straight out of the box. Now moving on to some cons, some things I didn't like. Number one, you're probably going to break the bottom part of the frame here where the battery goes, so that part's a little bit annoying. Number two, you're going to have to buy some more batteries, because that's one thing you're going to want to buy more because it's so much fun to fly around. Number three, put some hot glue on your antenna, because I found that popped off way too easy. Number four, I wish I had a little bit more camera up tilt. So on this thing, I found with the lens that's on here, on the CADX Turtle V2, I wasn't getting enough up tilt. So really, I wanted to, it can go a lot faster, but I just couldn't crank the angle enough to sort of get that extreme speed out of it. And then other than that, the part that people really need to think about is, what sort of flying do they want to do? If you just want to go out there and fly and you don't care about footage, getting this is a complete and total waste of money. If you don't care about the HD footage, don't go out and spend the extra dollars on this. It's not going to fly as well. It's going to be a little bit bit heavier than some of the other counterparts out there because look, without the HD, I do think it flies better. It's lighter, you get better flight times. Who's calling me now? It's my mum. She can just wait. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, pros and cons. Yeah, so if you're gonna buy this, you really need to make sure, it depends what sort of flying you wanna do. If you wanna go exploring, and I like the prop guards, all that sort of stuff, and if you're gonna fly around and bump into things and you want the HD footage, then this is definitely a really, really solid option. But if you don't care about the HD footage, well, you're just adding extra weight, extra cost, and I also don't think the FPV footage is actually it's not as vibrant as on just a plain standard CADX cam. So you do suffer a little bit of, I think, quality loss in your FPV feed when you're running it through the Turtle V2. But that's it. Very quickly, on the bench, what do you guys think? Now it's the fun stuff. Let's go out, catch up with the boys, fly it around, show you some DVR and some HD footage, and you can decide for yourself, is this something you're interested in? And I'd love to know, if not, what one would you recommend and what do you think about this? Is this the way, the future of our quads? Is this something you're totally not interested in? Let me know. I want to know those comments down below. Let's do it. Go have some fun with the boys, and then I'm probably going to call my mum back in 3, 2, 1. Audio out here in the field. Let's do it. Show you some HD footage with the UAV HD, flying around at the in-laws place today. Hopefully I don't crash into any water or any puddles. Show you what the footage looks like, and then we'll also hand it over to Wingman Jono, Long Range Tony, and see what they think about it as well. All right, let's do it. Okie dokie, here we go, on board, and I'm so used to saying, let's check out some DVR because it's on such a small craft, but I love it. This is like the future of our hobby, where we're at now. Tiny little crafts like this can fly around with some HD action, and that absolutely blows my mind that something so small can still get such clear footage. And this is where it really excels. If you've got a little, oh, and look, plenty of power too. If you want to do some acro, pump it up into the sky, you can definitely do a few little tricks and zip it around. But what this is made for is filming. If you've got a yard, and I feel like, you know, or a little backyard racetrack or something like that, this thing absolutely excels. I'm very lucky to be able to rip around at the in-laws place. I feel like they've got an awesome little yard for a little craft this size. But traditionally, I haven't been able to record it in HD because most, you know, most of the craft I fly around here that could carry a GoPro are not going to be well suited to this front yard. But this thing, it just absolutely rips it. It's got a little bit of power as well, so you've got a little bit of poke. And I would recommend, if you're going to fly this thing around indoors, you should probably put it on 2S, because you can see these speeds, unless you've got an absolutely huge size mansion, the speeds that this thing can get up to are going to make it a little bit tricky to fly it around indoors on a 3S. So if you want to do indoors, definitely stick to 2S. Now, in terms of the actual flight experience on the sticks, I'm going to say it felt flying. It did feel better to fly than the Mobula 7 HD, which is a bit of a plus, and I didn't have any oscillations, anything like that. It's still a smooth flight experience, but remember, it is going to get battered around a little bit by wind because it is such a tiny craft. And in terms of the camera, well, you guys be the judge. What do you think about it? Of course, it's no GoPro quality, but remember, this is on a little micro craft, so that might be enough. It's much better than DVR, and I think it looks fantastic anyway in such a small little craft. I think the Turtle 2 is definitely being put in a lot of crafts, and for good reason, because you can get footage like this out of such little things at such little weight limits that it's just, I don't know, I'm very excited for the future of our hobby. You know, a couple of years ago, if you had have said you can fly around in a craft like this that handles this well with an OSD and can record some HD footage without any oscillations, I wouldn't have believed you. So very, very exciting stuff to be able to fly around. Now look, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get a couple of little artifacts I think you can notice on the right, and I get a little bit of water on the lens as well, and it sees, you know, you can see some little distortion a little bit as well. It's not going to do acro like a 5-inch racer. It's not going to be like carrying a GoPro. Look, there's a couple of not so much cons, but limitations to such a small craft. But for anybody out there who wants something a little bit different, and you really need to ask yourself this one question: is this what I want? I really need to think about, is filming HD important to me in this micro-sized craft? And if it is, well, you're going to have a great time with this. But anyway, other than that, I hope what we should do, let's hand it over to Wingman Jono, Long Range Tony. They're out in the field. I think right here I try to do a bit of slow flying. If you wanted to focus and film something a little bit more slowly, you can do that, which isn't always possible with some of the larger crafts out there. But let's hand it over to the other boys, see what they think. We're at a different location because I've taken it out a few times. So let's see what the other boys think about the UAV HD. Radio Wingman Jono. So what's your first impressions before we fly around? Because you haven't even actually seen me fly this. What's your impressions of the UAV HD?
First impression immediately, it feels quite light. Really light, which is obviously what it needs to be for being like a whoop style one.
Yep.
Yeah, they got the full, like, what's that, the CADX camera in there? Yeah, CADX turtle in there.
Yep.
Yeah, feels light. looks nice.
What do you think about the frame design, how it's got all these extra braces and stuff like that? Because you've seen the Mobile frames, you've flown them quite a bit.
The Mobile frames, yeah, they had a bit of a habit of snapping, so they brought out another frame pretty quickly for that one, so you could replace it.
Yep.
But yeah, a bit of flex to it, but the extra bracing there, that looks pretty sturdy.
And another difference to point out too is we're using an XT30.
Ooh, yeah, that'll get a few more amps through. That's pretty good. Takes up to 3S, so yeah. Can we fly it? Can I fly it?
All right, let's do it.
Can we fly it?
Tony's just like murdering us with his. What are you flying? Oblivion?
Oblivion. Some don't like it.
See, and this is what the professionals do too. They just. All right, we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. We're gonna fly. We're gonna fly.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's my arm. Which one's arm? Which one's arm? Which one's arm?
Stop. It's arm.
That one. Oh, that's a terrible switch to have your arm switch on. Radio, am I allowed to fly now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, radio. Let's go. Wait, that's not too bad actually. Oh, okay. We give it a bit of pace. Let's see how we go. Oh, trees everywhere. Oh. Hey, yeah, it's got a bit of poke to it. Rates are up nice and high. It feels real twitchy. Not too bad. Let's do a roll. Whoa!
What happened there?
Oh, those rates are insane.
Hang on.
I gave that like a half-second flick, and that gave me like 2 barrel rolls on there. That's nutters. That's pro mode rates there. You want to be top-notch freestyler. Oh man, like it feels very responsive. I don't know if that's just because of the high rates. Doesn't have any trouble lifting off or anything.
Any bobbles or anything like that?
No, it feels very, very smooth. It does. Most of the twitchiness coming out of it is just me and trying to deal with the rates being a bit crazy.
And this is also on a smaller radio, so you're used to.
Yeah, I'm used to the big chunky radios and stuff. Let's give it a little throttle. Oh yeah, doesn't poke out like doesn't punch out massively, but yeah, I reckon this could be some fun. A little bit of pace. I'll try to. If the HD comes through nice and smooth, it feels like it'll be pretty good.
Who would you recommend this for?
Well, if HD footage comes out really good, if you want to do some like indoor HD, maybe if you want to bomb some spots that are a little bit more, if I dare say, risky, and you don't want to disturb people,
yep.
I reckon you can get away with it with something like this. These kinds of drones are pretty small, pretty unthreatening.
What about, do you think it flies better than the Mobile 7? The standard version one. It's just pure flight experience.
I reckon if rates were turned down, and to be honest, I think that obviously it's not hauling the HD camera. The Mobile has just got way more poke to it, a bit more maneuverability. It's like the difference between a freestyle rig and a racer, I reckon, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, gee, we just tapped the ground. That's terrible.
You're getting some good flight times.
Not too bad. It's flying around nicely. I've still got I'm down to 9 volts now. Hi, Tony.
Do you reckon you can feel the XT30 connector?
It definitely feels like it's got more than your normal like 2S Mobula by a long shot. Like
okay.
it feels like
it is 3S, but yeah, you can feel that power.
Yep, definitely. Oh, we just had a bit of a drop there, but I think that was a voltage drop. I think the battery's about done.
Too easy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll unplug for you. All right, Jono, so final impressions. Tony's found his quad after losing it for half an hour.
Oh, is that what you're doing out there?
I thought I'd park it away from you, but then I forgot what tree it was.
All right,
nice
Jono,
one.
final impressions on the UAVhD.
Yeah, that first little run, hey, that was fun. It doesn't have like tons of pull out of like drops and stuff like that, but hey, if you're looking to doing some like HD in like a real tight spot, public spot, something like that, I reckon it'd be pretty good for that. It feels like it flies smooth. Obviously, we've got to see the HD footage on it, but yeah, overall, like, yeah, I was having fun flying that around.
Do you reckon you could fly it around indoors? You could put 2S on it as well. It runs 2S.
Yeah. Hey, it felt pretty controllable at 3S. I'd have to see, really, like, but I feel like, yeah, if you had it in stability mode, I reckon you'd be able to fly it indoors just fine.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Jono.
No worries.
Glad you enjoyed it.
No, that was fun. That was fun, man.
Bit better than the last thing we reviewed, yeah?
What did we do last time?
Where is it?
Oh, the garbage pile. The steaming, flaming garbage pile. I remember that quad.
Alrighty, long range Tonys are out here. The UAV, whatever. This thing, pretty much think Mobile HD, Whoop HD style. What's your first impressions?
Yeah, it's good. I've got a Mobile 7, so the form factor is very familiar. It seems a little bit taller because it's got the extra stack height for the HD recorder, but it's nice and light, and be able to fly something around at home with a HD camera is pretty good.
Do you like your Mobile, or do you fly that a lot?
Look, I probably don't fly it as much as I should do, but yeah, it's great when it flies. And we go down the park and have a bit of a rip around the trees. It's a nice steady performer. You know, you never have any issues. You're not always going back and changing something out 'cause it's not working. It just always seems to work.
Yep.
The only thing I've changed on it is the frame. The original frames were pretty average, but this one feels quite sturdy compared to the first one.
It's got a lot more supports and
Yeah,
stuff through.
it just feels like it's a lot sturdier than the original Mobula.
Yep.
So hopefully the frame's a bit better. There's probably a little bit more weight in this because of the HD camera. Well, it's nice and straight off the blocks. It just feels like a slightly more powerful Mobula 7. Yeah, it's a bit of a crossover, isn't it, between a Mobula and a 3-inch. It's got a little bit more power to it.
Can you feel the weight?
Oh, okay. I
You
pulled the
killed
throttle
it,
down and it got...
Yeah, because it's got motor stop on there.
Yeah, hang on. I'll go.
Hang on, I'll see if I can get it with turtle mode.
Oh, you got turtle mode on it?
Yes.
This thing, hey?
Yep.
Do you want the goggles or just give it a flick and I'll tell you. Flick it to the right. Keep going. No, that's it. You got it. You got it. That's it.
Okay, you should be able to take off now.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm up. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So sorry. so I went up to do a backflip and
But you
killed the
didn't-
throttle
yeah,
and didn't realise
and
that
then
you
it wobbles,
yeah, you've lost the. Okay.
Pid loop, yep.
So is that
So
by
we'll have
choice
to change
or?
it. No, look, that's just how it came. So that would be definitely one setting we would change. We'll put air mode on, and I'm going to make it so the motors keep spinning when it's armed.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty
Easy thing to fix, but it should be done out of the blocks. I agree. All right, but back to the
Alright,
craft. Any
so-
oscillations?
no. There doesn't seem to be anything. It seems super smooth.
All right. What about the power?
Yeah, look, it's nowhere near as much as you'd expect a 3-inch to have, but it's got oodles for what it is. This is the sort of thing I reckon if you've got a decent sized yard, which is just a bit too small for a 3 or a 5-inch, and too big to fly your little 1 and 2S quads around, this would be perfect because you can bump into. You're not going to break props. It's just nice and flowy. I know what sort of a camera angle you've got, but you can fly it nice and smooth.
Would you fly this indoors too?
Would I?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably on a 2S. I don't know if I'd fly it 3S through the house.
A lot of
But
power?
you could. Like, I'll take it through the gap. Yeah, I hit the gap, but you know, it's pretty precise in where it goes. You can take it nice and slow. So you could fly. Yeah, you could fly this through the house, even on this.
I've got a question. Sister asked this to Jono too. Do you prefer this to your Mobula in terms of purely flying experience?
I thought I was going to say no, but I think I'm going to say yes.
Really?
Yeah, I actually, I don't know, I like this. It's just got that little bit more power. I think I enjoy this more. But maybe it's horses for courses. Some people would not. Some maybe like that really ultra slow and steady Mobula 7, just cruise around the house, go under the chairs. And,
yep.
But I don't know, this has got a little bit more, makes it a bit more of a versatile machine, I reckon.
Okay, so if we're going to Whoop Heaven Park tomorrow and you were going to fly a whole bunch of packs, would you choose this or the Mobula 7? For our normal type of park flying when we go fly whoops.
I think I'd try this.
Okay.
I think I'd like to try this one and just see, like, if there was a tight course, maybe the Mobula 7 would be more suited because it's a little bit slower.
Yep.
But no, this looks, I like the feel of this. This is great. I'd certainly consider something like this through my legs.
Oh!
My legs weren't even too wide.
No.
Try it again.
No, that's getting sketchy.
Through your legs.
No.
Oh, got me. That was good.
I'll unplug.
I like that. Oh, that was brilliant. Really nice. It's a pretty cool little quad, that.
Yeah, final impressions?
No, I like it. I like it a lot. The only issue, though, for a lot of people is going to be batteries. They're a bit bigger than your small whoops, and obviously a lot smaller than your 3 and 4-inch quads. So
I'm going to say too, charging them is going to be more of a pain than the charger that we're used to. You know, you can just throw it in there.
So I just think from a quad perspective, yes, cost effective, but when you've got to start adding up, you need to then go and buy all new batteries, and you might even need to buy a new balance board. All those things are going to start adding up. And so I think you need to factor that in, and I've certainly been victim of that in the past of buying some slightly different quads, and I had batteries for the 3-inch Acrobat that were on an XT30. And then you realise, hang on, I've got to buy all these different accessories, got to buy different batteries or make adapters, and
So just be mindful.
So just be mindful that it's not just the quad. You've got to buy the accessories to go with it to make it work.
Yep.
So factor that in.
We're mainly talking batteries there, aren't we? You want a whole bunch of these to be able to charge them quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Like that
on.
lasted about 3 minutes, and you know you want to go out and fly for an afternoon. You're going to want 10, 12 batteries minimum.
Yeah.
So you got to factor that in.
What about the fact that it can record HD?
Yeah, brilliant. Like the HD camera in that is exactly the same in my 3-inch.
Yep.
It's got the same. It's got the same turtle recorder, so same form factor, but obviously it's a significantly smaller and lighter drone. So yeah, I like it. Really good. I'd love to see the HD from it.
All right, nice. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks.
Rightio, so there it is. There's my review of the UAV, HD, all those letters, and overall, I think, look, it's a great solution if you want to record HD, but if you're just after some normal flight, you don't care about your footage when you're watching it back or anything like that, you're much better suited with something like a Mobula 7, or if you want to do indoors, I really recommend something like the Tiny Hawk. But if you want to go HD, definitely check this one out. I'll put the link down below. What do you guys think about it? Subscribe for more FPV related content. Really should go watch this video. Big shout out to Rewind FPV because I just did a showcase of his. If you haven't seen that video, he does an absolutely mind-blowing long-range video, which is gorgeous. Go check that out. I'll put that link that should pop up there. Other than that, all that other sort of stuff. And as always, happy flying.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Mum. How are you?
How are you, Dad?
Good, good. Yourself?
Good, good, good. Nothing important. I just thought I'd just give you a ring, see how you are, see how Miss...